Good afternoon. The Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution is one of the key rights and freedoms that all American citizens above the age of 18 years old can exercise. Now, I have been a gun owner most of my life. In fact, I still have the very first one that was given to me, I think, when I was 8 or 9 years old, and it's right here on the table. This is a Daisy air rifle, and quite honestly, I'm kind of surprised I still have it. And it still actually operates even after all those years. I had a lot of good times with this air rifle many years ago, and I don't even want to think about all the creatures that I put to death using this. It's not something I really like to think about. Now, as I said, I've been a gun owner most of my life. That was the first one. I still have. I don't have a large collection. I've never been one of those people that buys a lot of firearms, and I've never been a hunter. I don't believe in that personally for me, but I have done some target shooting, and of course in the military I had to qualify on several weapons. The only other firearm I have until recently, until today actually, is the Springfield Armory 1911. As you can see, there's no mag here. There's nothing in the chamber. It's a completely safe gun. But I've had this for several years. I've probably put, I don't know, not even that much through it. 200-300 rounds maybe. This is a tried and true firearm dating back to 1911. John Browning was the inventor of this, and this is still a tried and true design that even to this day, over 100 years later, is still used by many people as target weapons and sidearms. So both my wife and I own firearms. She has a little .32 Beretta, a little weapon that she can handle. But the last few years have got me thinking again about how life has changed here in this country and around the world, quite honestly, and the chaotic nature, this pandemic that came about, and now it seems like all governments are trying to take away all of our human rights. So I thought this year's birthday present to myself would give me the opportunity to exercise my Second Amendment right once again. And as I just mentioned, I did qualify on several weapons in the military, and that's the last time I've actually fired a rifle at all. So what I decided to treat myself to this year was probably one of the most general purpose rifles that anyone can own for target shooting, hunting, if that's what you choose, or self-defense, and even law enforcement. And that is a shotgun. Now, in the military, I qualified on a Remington 870, and I've always loved the Remington 870. And I really kind of wanted one, but I was doing a lot of research, and Remington went out of business, and then they were bought out by somebody else, and I've read some things about some of their firearms now that the quality is just not quite the same. That could be true, could be false, I don't know. All I know is that right now it's very hard to find a Remington shotgun, new or used. And they're not really inexpensive. Now, what I purchased is still an American-made firearm, and it is this Mossberg. Very affordable. This is actually, amazingly enough, this is actually a Mossberg Maverick 88. Now, the Maverick 88 comes from the fact that the company that makes this particular rifle is actually Maverick Arms, and they're located in Eagle Pass, Texas. And that facility is less than 3,000 feet from the Rio Grande, which is the border between the United States and Mexico. What I understand is that some of the parts from this firearm are made in Mexico and brought over and assembled in this facility. But if you look at the images of this facility, it's a rather large facility. So the Maverick 88, I think the 88 comes from the year that Maverick started building this, which was 1988, and they are owned and fully funded by Mossberg. And that's why I was curious how this box would show up, if this box would come saying a Mossberg, if it would say Maverick 88. Now Mossberg is a family-owned American company that has been in existence and creating firearms since 1919. The Mossberg 88, or the Maverick 88, is a more economical version of the Mossberg 500, and it has a few key differences. But the Mossberg 500 was introduced to the market in 1961 and is a favorite of many, many people for its reliability, accuracy, and what all. So when I saw that they had a Mossberg available at one of my local gun shops, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to get that. And for the small investment of $250, which is even now was just probably a little bit more than I should have paid for it, I'm getting a very quality weapon that will last me for many, many years. Now, instead of me talking, let's open this box up and see what this thing looks like. Now, this is the second time I have opened this. I had to open it up real quick and show my wife because she was interested in it. But I put it back exactly as it came from the shop. So, first thing we see here is our hanging target and a nice manual. I don't see anything else in here, still a sealed bag. We've got, now this is an interesting decal. It says Maverick by Mossberg. Interesting. That's kind of cool. This looks like the barrels. Let me put this over here for a moment and take the main body out, and then I'll get rid of this box. So let's put the barrel here. So it looks like all I'm getting for $250 is this big long bag, much longer than the rifle, which is the main body here, and then of course the barrel, which we can take out of here. I don't think there's anything else in there. So here's our barrel. Now this is an 18.5-inch barrel, and as common with Mossbergs, it's got a captive nut here to attach the barrel. The other main difference between the 500, 590, the 500 series of shotguns and the Maverick 88, and I'm just saying this because this is just stuff I found out. It's not like I am not a firearms expert by any means. I don't really know what I'm talking about. The only things I'm saying are things that I've just recently learned, basically. So I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be an expert on ammunition or firearms at all. But the few things I have learned is that, and one thing that maybe I should have purchased the 500 if I could have found one available, I would have, because I'm a left-handed shooter and most firearms are set up for right-handed people. The Mossberg 500 has the safety on the tang. It's called a tang safety, so it doesn't matter how you fire it, you can hit it with your thumb. Now this one, the safety here is in front of the trigger guard. Unsafe, safe, which for me is going to be kind of a problem unless I learn how to fire right-handed, which I really don't know that I want to do with the condition of my right shoulder. But after looking at some of the disassembly videos for this and the Remington 870, I'm really glad I got the Mossberg, because the Mossberg looks like it's a much simpler rifle to disassemble. You've got just one pin here to punch out and pull the trigger assembly out, whereas on the Remington you've got two, and one goes this way, one goes this way because of this way they've got the spring detent set up. But other than that, this is a very tried and true firearm. Now, one thing I think is interesting here is it looks like it's tapped for a swivel sling attachment, but it doesn't come with one. I could have sworn that I thought, and see, that's the thing that was confusing me a lot, was that I'd see these guns listed on various websites, and they usually have one picture or two, and the picture's not always indicative of what you're really going to get, so it's hard to tell exactly what it is you're going to get. The gun shop I went to, they had to actually order this from their warehouse, so they didn't have one on hand so I could look at it. But the other thing that I'm really happy about that I like a lot is that if you see this end of the stock here, it's very honeycombed and cushiony. So that should make any kind of recoil, hopefully will help a little bit with the recoil. Now let's see here. I've seen how to do this. The other thing with these is the Remington, I believe, the slide release is in the front of the receiver, and this one is in the back. So I think we put this at about halfway to attach our barrel. Now the one thing I noticed, that's kind of a cool little thing. One thing I noticed in some of the websites or videos I was watching is that they were saying that a lot of these Mossbergs come with a dowel rod in here, and what that does is it keeps you from loading more than 2 rounds in the chamber, because I think some states or most states for duck hunting you're really only allowed to have 3 rounds, 1 in the chamber, 2 in the magazine. I'm not sure if that's the case with this one. I'm pushing this tube in pretty far and I'm not feeling it, nor do I hear it. I read or saw in some of the videos that there is a dowel rod in there, so I really won't know, I guess, until the time comes to... Let's see here. Now, I've never done this, so I think maybe I need to have this receiver back a little bit further. I don't know, or maybe up further. Not quite that far. We'll try it back here and see how this goes in. Should be screwing in now, and that's all you need to do. So the other thing I kind of liked about the Mossberg was it has this ejection elevator as opposed to having a cover there, so that it's really open. Here you can see in there easily if there's rounds in there. Now this one, unlike some I've seen, the Remington, some of the later Remingtons, this plunger for the, or the keeper for the chamber is actually red or something, so you can tell more easily. But I mean, here you can look in there and just say, well, I don't see brass, so obviously there's not a round in the chamber there. And then you can very easily check your barrel here. So this has been kind of a quick look at what I've got going on here. Now this isn't the way my channel is going to go. This is probably a one-off video just showing this for the purpose of basically just letting people know that, yeah, I'm still alive, I'm still here. This time last year I was probably shooting a video for my birthday on the OS 40 or 45. I think it was a 40 FSR that I got from eBay. Quite honestly, I think these things are a little bit better purchase for my money than a whole bunch of glow engines, which I won't be buying anymore. Now, like I said, I'm not a hunter, I'm not an avid shooter. I am gonna go to the range and put, you know, probably 100 or so rounds. I don't know. We'll see how many rounds I put through this thing. On that note, let me show you what I did get though. Now, I think it was around 2020, 2021, gun prices, there was a big run on weapons because of the pandemic and all these things that are going on in our country. Lots of gun shops sold out. Ammunition prices have been on the rise for many years. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I quit taking this to the range, because it just got to be very expensive to fire that. And at that time, I was also doing a lot of those videos for the glow engines, so you know, buying a bunch of glow engines, there's only so much money. So anyway, I was looking for ammunition for this thing, and I found some from this place called, hopefully you can see that, Palmetto State Armory in South Carolina. They happen to have a daily deal early in the week, and I got the daily deal, which was, I would call it the daily steal. These sterling high quality ammunitions, 12 gauge double aught buck, 10 pieces. This box was $4.99 each, so that's 50 cents a round. Most of the other boxes were like, God, double that. So they had this. I bought 8 boxes. So here's what these rounds look like. So what I'm going to take to the range, I'll probably take a couple of these boxes to the range on a couple different occasions, get comfortable with this, the feel of this firearm, how it kicks, and or how the recoil is, and just get familiar with this rifle again, because it's been many years. It's been over 30 years since I shot a shotgun, and I was in the military. And of course I was a Remington 870, which is the same thing, but I was also shooting double aught buck, so I had to qualify with that and an AR-15. But that was many, many years ago. So I'm really looking forward to taking this out to the range and firing it. So I feel better. I don't feel unhappy at all that I'm no longer into glow engines, and I feel very comfortable with these things here, because as many people have said before, and I'm going to say it again also, it's better to have one of these things and not ever need to use it than it is to need one to protect yourself or your family and to not have it. So, exercised my Second Amendment right, purchased yet another firearm for home self-defense, target practice. Those viewers and subscribers that are in countries where there's gun control laws and you're not allowed to own firearms, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. It's because shit's turning south real fast in this world, and I don't watch much of the news, but what I do see is not very good. So that concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Now, how in the hell am I supposed to dispose of this box? The last thing I need people knowing is that I've purchased a shotgun.